Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Oh my gosh. So I'm looking forward to going through all of this stuff with you. We're going to talk about a case from Wade's past that we have talked about here before. There is more information because I got some stuff back from a records request. But, okay. So usually, just one second. Sorry, the doggy. So usually I try not to censor anything here. I really don't like to do that. But in this case, I want this video to stay up. It is one of the most important videos I've probably done. In my opinion, to me, it's the most important video on Wade. And that's because this is a horrific crime that he was found not guilty by a jury, and it is so much like the crimes he went on to commit. The last time I did this video, it was reported and taken down. So today there's going to be some censoring. I'm just going to let you know now. And I'm also going to use an overlay as we read through the documents. I will show the documents in some places where I can. Some things are not redacted. I just want to be so careful because I do not want it taken down. And it seems like, I don't know if it's an AI bot, if it was reported or what, but I just want to be really careful. I want this video to stay up. It is so important to me. People need to know what he's done, and not just what he's in prison for on death row, but other things he got away with. And, he's continued to commit these same kind of crimes, even in jail. So, it's important to me. Thank you, Kelly. Hold on. Let me turn it back on. I'm going to move because the doggy's being loud. I don't want to distract you guys. But before I do, it was a guest house next to my mom's, but we have kind of turned it into just my house. And then, the ceilings are, wrong way. The ceilings are super high. They're probably 30 feet in the middle. There could be a whole top floor. But yeah, and I love it. I love it so much, but it's really hard to keep warm or cool. Especially warm. Like this winter has been so cold. I usually keep I have a little log stove. If you see it, that's what that tart burner is on. That light, wrong way, over here. It's so weird because this is backwards. So I'm using this hand. I don't know. It's just gets me all thrown off. But this right here, there's a fireplace under that tart burner, and I'll burn that and use a pump that does heating and air. I don't know what you call that, but it's a mini split. So we do both, and it still doesn't stay warm. But thank you so much. Okay. I like to keep the thank you, Michelle. I love to be on camera so you guys can see me. And I don't know, I just want you guys to be able to see. But also, it's really hard when reading and stuff. And sometimes when we're playing videos, the camera makes the videos all funky. So I'm going to turn it off now. But I wanted to say hello to you guys on camera. Pro tip, all messages. We have high ceilings too, and it's horrible to try and keep cool in the summer and warm in the winter. It really is. Thank you, Bogart. Okay. So like I said, we're going to get into, this is tough stuff. Usually I don't censor any word. Today we're going to, because I want the video to stay up. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make sure it does. Before we get into that, though, I want to show you, I wanted to grab pictures of Wade before the crimes to use as the overlay when I'm reading some of the documents that I don't want to have on the screen. All the documents will be uploaded, by the way, to the free tier in Patreon. This video is going to be a Patreon giveaway, too. When we're done, I'm going to want you guys to leave a comment down below if you want to win a month's membership to Patreon. And I'll choose from the comments. I'll do a random number generator, so it'll be completely fair. But you can join the free tier and see all the documents. So for the purposes of the video staying up, I'm not going to show them all, but I want to make sure you guys have access to them too. So while I wanted to make this overlay of older pictures of Wade, and I wanted to show you guys, I found some I had never seen before, and maybe you guys have. Many of you have kind of followed this long before me, but let's see. I don't know which one was first. Here we go. So that's the first one. It looks like he has a wedding ring on. I wonder what that was about. Then we have long before, he did the prison time that messed up his teeth. Let's see. This one looks like it's got some sort of filter over it or something. You would not believe if you go to Pinterest, the accounts on there that just save Wade's photos and different things. There is so much there. That's why another reason this video is so important. These women that see him online and might think, oh, look at this attractive dude. You need to know what this man is capable of. I don't find him attractive. I could see how people do before all of this and some of these photos. He's a decent looking young man, but he is pure evil. Pure evil. There he is. Showing off those teeth. Buddy, you better, before, while you have them to show. Little Wade, look at this one. I mean, wow. Where did everything go wrong? Like, how did this happen? We know that he came from really young parents. And supposedly he went into a great home. He was adopted. Where did it all go wrong, Okay. Another mugshot. Oh, his teeth. I don't know what's going on there. He looks so different here, like just unhealthy. Look here, you guys. Wow. Like middle school dance Wade. Bloodline, Mr. X says, not only evil, but a complete moron. Annoying moron at that. Like just that laugh of his. Oh my God. I've seen some of these. I bet his parents spent a lot of money on his teeth. He was decent looking, but no more. And like Allie just said, knowing what he is capable of and who he really is, he is the most vile, ugly creature on the planet. Okay. Then we have theme park Wade. Some girl, I won't focus on that one. I did crop her out of the overlay, so you guys will see it in the overlay. Wade with a big fish or a shark, some kind of something. Look at him there, so young. Like, just to know what he turned into and what his hands are capable of. So those of you who heard this first police report, there are some extra details that I find really interesting. I just can't wait for you guys to hear it. And those of you who haven't, be prepared. What he did to this young lady is what nightmares are made of, truly. And he should have gotten a long time in prison before. And had he, lives would have been saved. That's just the straight up truth. So, okay, so now we're going to put on my overlay because I'm going to get into the documents. I will show things as I can, as, like I said, as if it's something that's not too bad or, I don't know, doesn't have any names. I'm not going to put any names on here or anything like that. So first document they sent, supplemental one, incident report. So the date of this incident was, or the date of the report is December the 14th. And that's the date that they have that it occurred as well, December 14th, 2014. It just goes into a couple things. It's a sexual battery supplemental report. Actually, I should probably even alter the way that I say that. We have an officer who comes in and he says, on the above listed date and time, I responded to the local ER room, number 50, in reference to a SB. That's the word I'll use for that type of battery in this particular live. We will go right back to not talking in any kind of code words after this, but the video, like I said, again, for the 100th time, I really wanted to stay up. So, in reference to an SB investigation, I impounded the FDLESA kit toxicology kit, and a pair of the victim's pants into property and evidence. The victim advised that she had changed clothing prior to coming to the ER. The pair of pants I impounded was the pair she changed into and not what she was wearing during the SB. So that is the very first report. We actually hadn't seen that before. Hey, you guys coming in. Some of these you can tell when he's in active addiction. I agree. Especially like that top right one. He just looks so different. Hey, Wolfie. Hey, all of you guys. Okay. Hey, Faye. Hey, MK. I did not say individual hellos, so hello to everybody. So now I'm going to go over to the second report. And actually, let me just have my screen share ready in case there's some stuff that I want to show. I probably could have shown that just now. Yeah, I can show this. Surely this wouldn't get taken down. So if you go over to Patreon, join as a free member, you'll be able to see all of the documents. Oh, wrong one. This is what I was just reading to you guys. Okay. So now number 2, let's see. Number 2 simply says, this case was assigned to Investigator G, we'll call him. I'm not even going to use his name. So report number 3, they sent over 7 in total. There's only 6 we're going to talk about today. One of them is the exact summary we had heard before, and then there's a different summary that is slightly different. I'll read to you guys, but I want to talk. I found a couple things that maybe could be some of the reason he was found innocent, because he took this case to trial. He was found innocent. So the next report goes into the warrant being issued. It says, reported via 911? No. Was evidence collected? Yes. Evidence collected from hospital. Photos or video taken? Yes. Digital. Photos of victim's injury? Yes. Suspect's injury? No. Which officer took all the photos and stuff? And then it goes into the offenses. The first one is the SA with weapon, SB victim 12 years old or older. This is the case where that charge comes from. Remember, we had talked about, what is that about? Like, this is that case. That was the first charge. Number 2, kidnap, commit, or facilitate commission of a felony. And then that's it. Those are the 2 offenses that are listed here. Let's see. I'll just take the thing off for just a second so you guys can see, kind of get an idea of what I'm reading. Okay. So then we go into suspect. Wade Stephen Wilson, person, address, at large. He's a white male, birthday, age, all of that stuff. 205 pounds, 6'2", 205 pounds at this time. Somebody with that height and that weight, I mean, that's a big guy, It's definitely not a small dude. All right, so I'm going to warn you guys, this is, pretty tough to hear. So actually, let me just change the banner. I feel like a trigger warning is kind of implied when you're going into true crime. We're talking about actual cases, things that, charges that Wade has beaten in the past, which still blows my mind. But, this is exceptionally rough. So, okay. On December 14th, 2014, this agency responded to a hospital in Tallahassee in reference to a sexual battery. The investigator was then contacted as the on-call investigator for the SVU and responded to the hospital to meet with the victim. The victim, redacted, referred to as the victim for the remainder of this report, redacted, went to a party at this specific address. After getting to the party, the victim was offered some punch mixed in a cooler for party attendees to drink. She made up an excuse why she couldn't drink the punch and then stated she would go get some vodka. She drove to a nearby liquor store where she purchased a small bottle of vodka. The victim returned to the party and Blank hung out by the DJ, who was Blank's roommate. At some point, Blank left the DJ area and the victim was left hanging out with Blank, the other DJ at the party. The victim said Blank was a little uncomfortable because she did not know anyone there except Blank. The victim said she continued to drink vodka and started to feel sick. While standing near the DJ, the victim could smell somebody smoking weed. The victim turned around and saw a female smoking weed nearby. Just a second. I'll take this off for this part because there's nothing in this specific part. While standing near the DJ, she could smell the weed. The victim turned around and saw a female smoking weed nearby. The victim said when Blank gets nauseous from drinking, the only thing that helps the nausea is smoking some weed. The victim walked up to the unknown female and asked if she could smoke some. The victim agreed and then began bragging about how good the weed was because it was from Colorado. Hey, Natasha. Hey, Dana. Hey, you guys coming in. The victim and the female, Kay, we'll call her Kay because it's not redacted, whose last name was unknown at the time but is believed to be KC, began hanging out and talking. Kay and the victim eventually walked over towards one of the bonfires, where the victim was introduced to the suspect, Wade Wilson. Kay introduced the suspect as Wade and stated Wade was one of her best friends. The victim told Wade she had noticed him when he walked in because of his dimples, which were really cute. The victim said during the very brief conversation around the fire, Blank told Wade Blank liked tattoos, and Wade lifted his shirt, exposing more tattoos. The victim revealed Blank had recently gotten out of the 2.5-year relationship with Blank girlfriend. Wade made a passing comment about him and Kay getting lucky tonight and said something about a threesome. The victim ignored the comment. Shortly after, the suspect asked the victim if Blank wanted to go smoke some weed. The victim agreed, and she and Wade exited the backyard through a gate on one side of the house. The two walked around to the front of the house and over to a maroon-colored SUV-type vehicle similar to that of a Honda CR-V. Wade got into the driver's seat and the victim got into the passenger seat. The two smoked a few bowls of weed in a smoking device called a steamroller. Blank described the device as a long pipe that fills up with smoke, and it's something used to get a stronger high. Now, this vehicle is going to come up again in a minute, and you guys will be kind of so it's just all the more reason I believe her. I believe the victim anyways. He should have been in prison for this. He was not. What I found in one of the next reports that we'll get to, you're going to be like, oh my God. Yeah, of course she was telling the truth. Samantha, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you. I appreciate that. And it's unfortunate the jury didn't see it that way, you know? Okay, Crochet Lover. All right. This is tough, but it is important that the story is told and that the case is out there and people know what he's done. It just pisses me off that my video is taken down in the first place, which now we have more info anyways, but still. So after smoking, Wade told the victim to get into the back seat. The victim asked why, and Wade told the victim in a more forceful voice to get in the back seat. The victim felt as if she had no choice but to get in the back seat, so she crawled to the back. She began feeling very uncomfortable. Once in the back, he drove around for a little while. She didn't know how long they drove around because Wade made her get on the floorboard and covered her with jackets. She kept telling her nobody could see her in the vehicle. He kept telling her. Wade finally stopped the vehicle, and the victim realized they were still in the area of where this occurred. Wade parked on the side of the street. The victim said Wade got into the back seat and started choking Blank by the neck with both hands. The victim kept asking him to let her out of the vehicle and asked to go back to the party, but he would not let her leave. Wade told the victim she had 2 options. One was to do what he tells her to do, and the second is to get shot. Wade stated Wilson stated he had a gun and would shoot blank if blank did not do what he said or if blank tried to run. The victim said he kept calling her a bitch throughout the attack. The victim stated after being choked and threatened with a gun, she became extremely scared and feared for her life. The victim said she went into survival mode and began doing whatever he asked and tried her best not to make him mad. She doesn't recall how her clothing was removed, but once it was off, it was completely off. The victim said she was completely naked, and Wade began how can I say this? Penetrating her, not in your anally penetrating her. I can't say it any other way. The victim stated it hurt, but she was not going to do anything to make him mad. He continued to do this for an unknown amount of time. He then pulled his P out of the victim's A and began penetrating the victim with his P. The victim could tell he was not wearing a condom. Towards the beginning, Wade wrapped his jacket around her head. The victim said it was a lightweight Seminoles jacket, and every time she took a breath, the jacket would suck into her mouth, making it hard for her to breathe. The victim felt like she was suffocating and began to panic. The victim recalled while she had Wade's jacket wrapped around her head, she kept seeing a light and hearing a noise. I have a lot of questions about this part as far as the trial goes, okay? So she saw a light and started hearing a noise. The victim finally recognized the noise and figured out Wade was taking a video of what was happening. The victim could not understand why he was recording the incident, but did not say anything because she was too scared. The victim did advise that anytime the light came on, he would change his tone of voice and attitude to that of a nicer person. Once the video went off, Wade would return to the forceful and violent person he had been prior. He recorded 7 to 8 short videos on her cell phone of the SB. Now, were these videos still that, was the jury able to see these videos? Also, could it have been because he changed his tone? It seemed more consensual. This is a nightmare. I hope this victim was able to get some help after this and is healing. No one deserves this. Can you imagine how the victim felt when he was found not guilty and released into the public to God only knows do what to her? Like, I cannot believe that happened. I'm so disgusted over it. So she said at some point, some of Wade's friends came over to the car and Wade made the victim get on the back floorboard prior to the friends getting up to the vehicle. The victim stated she was lying on the back floorboard with her head basically under the back passenger seat. She said her hip was over the center hump of the back floorboard and she was in an awkward position. Wade covered her in jackets and told her not to say anything. He talked briefly with his friends, but told them he had a naked chick in the back of the car, and so they finally walked away. He then returned to S battering the victim. The victim said she had begun having an anxiety attack and could not breathe. She began asking Wade to open the door or even crack a window, and Wade told her he could not do that. The victim stated Wade was telling her not to act crazy or he would have to kill her. The victim became very nauseous and threw up on the back floorboard of the vehicle. After she threw up, he forced her to smoke more weed, even though she refused. Throughout the SB, he referred to his gun or threatened the victim with a gun approximately 5 to 10 times. She said she complied with everything he told her to do because she was afraid she was going to die. Sometime during the SB, he took the victim's blanket and tied them around the victim's ankles. The victim said he tied them extremely tight. The victim said he continuously AR'd her anally and blank for a total of about 3 hours. While Wade was still SAing the victim, She said she thought it was the end and she was going to die. She started to think of happy things and trying to put herself mentally somewhere she would be okay. She said she started saying the prayer, Our Father, over and over again in her head, and about the 10th time he said, F it, I'm over it. Afterwards, she frantically tried to get some of her clothes on, and his attitude changed a little. He tried to get the car started and could not get it started. So he made the victim get out and push the vehicle. Remember this. We talked about this before because I'm like, wow. Then you make the girl get out and push the vehicle. He threatened her before she got out, assuring she would not run. She said she helped him get the vehicle started and got back in the car as demanded by Wade. He drove back to pick up his friends from the party, and his friends said they had been looking for him. The friends said they called the police to report the car stolen. Wade got into the front passenger seat and told the victim to sit on his lap. She did not want to sit on his lap, but was again scared to make him mad. The victim was only able to put on blank. Wade's friends asked the victim where they could drop her off, and she told them blank's house. The entire ride, he continued the SB by penetrating her backside with his fingers as they got closer and closer to where she was going. He got rougher and rougher. She felt he was being rough as a reminder of his threat for her not to tell anyone what happened, and this is when he tells her, I hate I had to do it like this because you're so beautiful. His friend dropped her off at Blank's house in Tallahassee, the victim said. When she got out of the car, Wade asked the victim her name. She responded with her first name, and he again asked for her full name in a threatening manner. She told him blank. She felt he was asking, so he knew who she was in case he had to find her to follow through with his threats. And again, imagine how scared she was when this man is found not guilty. I hope they're watching too, Tara. I do. I really do. But I'm sure they'd have a million excuses. She ran through the front door and knocked and knocked until the person inside woke up. And she told them she had just been essayed for 3 hours and was hysterical and crying. She went in and took a shower. She said she sat down in the shower, but it hurt so bad to sit down. She said while in the shower, she pulled out a handful of hair due to the stress and anxiety. After the shower, Blank offered, so I remember from the other version, the person she went to their house offered his bed and she went to sleep because some of it's redacted differently than the one we read before. The following morning, the victim discovered the feminine product she had been wearing the night before was no longer inside of her or had been pushed so far into her she could no longer locate it. She was also missing blank, which was later located. At that point, she chose to go to the hospital for an essay evidence kit. She presented at the hospital with the following abrasions, bruises, or scratches to the following. Let me take this off for a second. So we have went through this list before, but in case I want to go through it again for anyone new, anyone who's going to watch this in the future, and this is going to be the full and complete picture of this case that we have once I get through the other documents as well. So on the right knee, she had abrasions and scratches. Right foot, small bruise on the area just above the fourth toe. Right hip, there was a bruise and a scratch along the hip bone and waist. Left elbow, bruised and slightly swollen, painful to move. Right side of chin, red mark and bruise. Neck, scratched or abraded area running horizontally across the windpipe. Lip, bruised and slightly swollen. Nose, abrasion across the bridge of the nose. Right side of the neck, scratches. Left side of the neck, bruised. Right side of the head above the ear, slight swelling and tender to the touch. Left ankle, scratch. Now, I see this and I think about like Christine's autopsy, where she had all the head injuries, and the bleeding and stuff. He's just so absolutely violent. How? With all of this evidence, was he found not guilty and able to go on to attack 2 more women he didn't kill and 2 women he did take their lives, and God only knows who else. It's unbelievable. Oh, wait, let me turn on my thing again, just in case. I'll show more as we that I can as we go, but I just want to be so careful. So the victim provided her cell phone number to the investigator and gave consent to complete a forensic examination of the phone. After meeting with the victim, the investigator made contact with the victim's blank by phone. They were uncertain of speaking with this investigator over the phone and requested contact in person. So the investigator drove out and spoke to blank in person. Blank could not provide any pertinent information with regards to the suspect. He was able to provide a phone number for Kay, the witness at the party. The investigator attempted to contact Kay. There was no answer, and a voicemail was left requesting a call back. No call back was received. The investigator then attempted to reach blank, but was unsuccessful. A voicemail was left requesting a call back, and a call back was received the same date. Blank was asked if he knew the male subject the victim had been seen with, and he said no. He was then asked if he knew Kay, and he said yes. The investigator asked to make contact with Kay and if he could find out who went to the party with the night before, and they agreed. Contact was made with the victim's blank. Blank stated he could not provide much information other than to say when blank showed up, she was hysterical. She told him, I'm assuming this is the person's house that she went to. So this is stuff we hadn't seen before. This person told him, the victim told this person she had just been SA'd anally and blank. The conversation with him was audio recorded. The same day, the investigator traveled to the residence where the party occurred. Contact was made with the resident, MS, who advised she knew she threw the party. She could not provide any useful information and did not even know who the victim was. She did provide names and phone numbers of her roommates, though. Let me check on you guys. Oh, Tara, thank you. I appreciate that so much. It is definitely hard to read. I will say, though, the first times were easier or were more difficult. This time is a little bit easier. But it's still, it's just heartbreaking. And then when you know the way this turned out, there was all this evidence and all these injuries, and he was still found not guilty. The fear this young lady must have had. Oh, thank you, Nate. Wade has been hurting people for years. He 100% deserves the death penalty for the heinous, repeatedly violent behavior. I agree. Jules, it was reported, and that's why I'm using the overlay. I'm not showing hardly any of the documents. If you're coming in late, I'm going to upload them to my free tier on Patreon so you guys can read them and see, go along with what I'm reading. But so I usually like to show that stuff on the screen. I want you guys to see it and be able to research with me to see the facts. But this video, I want it to stay up, so I'm just trying to find the balance there. So it goes into their roommates and their phone numbers. And one of the roommates advised she stayed in her room the whole time because she did not want to have anything to do with the party. The other roommate could not provide any information pertinent to the investigation, both of the other roommates. The suspect was identified the following day as Wade Wilson by a witness and by the victim. Prior to this, he was only known as Wade. For the victim's account above, the suspect was referred to as Wilson. On December 15th, this investigator received a return phone call from Blank. Blank advised he made contact with Kay to find out who she had gone to the party with the night prior. She advised she was with Wade Wilson. So there we go. Now they've definitely know who the suspect is, and they have a party goer confirming to police, yes, it was Wade Wilson. The same date, this investigator received an email and phone call from the victim's mother. She advised the victim had located the suspect on Facebook and emailed a link to the account. The Facebook account was for Wade Wilson. So this is all stuff we didn't know before I did this FOIA request. It's interesting to see the process of how this went down. On December 17th, the investigator attempted contact with the suspect. He could not be located at his listed residence. Several other addresses were checked, and his known associates were contacted without success. All attempts to locate Wade have been unsuccessful, and he is currently out on bond in reference to 2 unrelated charges. I would show you the list of charges, but on the video that was taken down, that was one of the timestamps that was listed for something that wasn't shown at the timestamp. So I'm not even going to do that. The same date, these warrants were signed by the judge. SB with a deadly weapon, 2 counts of that, and 1 count of kidnapping. The warrant information was provided to Sergeant Larimore and the U.S. Marshals. The status of the case is being changed to open and active to warrants issued. So that is the end of that report. We got a couple more, though, so I want to check in with you guys before we keep going. Oh, thank you for being here. Michelle, yes, you did, Crochet Lover. We're going to the ones, the other ones now. Hey, Sherry. I have mixed emotions about the death penalty, but in this case, Wade deserves that punishment. There is no hope for him. Well, it's crazy because, even just looking at the screen, all these pictures of Wade growing up, right? And when did he turn into this evil monster? Because the first case I know of him being just so absolutely sick, violent, and dangerous was this one that we're reading, and maybe there's more that we don't have information on. I've heard talk of other cases, but I would love to know more about what he was like before that, and if any major traumatic events happened up until that time. And then we have 2014 this, and then we have 2019, just 5 years later. That's when the murders occurred. And we know that year alone, he did a very similar thing that he did to both Christine and Diane and this victim to his girlfriends, Kelly and Mila. Tara, yeah, let me drop the Patreon link so you guys, but it is just my name, I'm pretty sure. But you can join as a free member there and get all, I always upload any documents I go over to there. It's in their files you can download. And yeah, we actually have a Patreon live in the morning too. So in 2014, Jahira, I don't know. You guys, his birthday was just in that thing. Isn't it 1994? So 20? Sorry, I know that was loud in the mic. I'm sorry. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah. Okay. So now the next report, let me jump over to it. This just says, let's see. List all the different warrants they issued, which was 5. Well, wait a second. 1 through 3, they issued 3. There's 2 more from December 3rd. He was out on bond, I guess, for the December 3rd charge. Oh, you know what the December 3rd charge was? We've went over these in Leon County, where Wade is hanging out with someone who's reported missing, someone under the age of 18. Police find Wade and this person, and we don't know because it's redacted. And Wade tells him or her, you don't have to talk to them. Don't talk to the police, right? And so this person became more violent, aggressive, wouldn't talk to police. Wade was charged with resisting an officer and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. And that is from that event. So they list those 5 charges. And then at the end, this was so interesting. It says, I had information the defendant, Wade Wilson, was wanted. Today, January 7th, 2015, Wilson called the investigator. He said he wanted to turn himself in and provide evidence that he was innocent. Wilson met us in the lobby of the station just after 3. So we didn't know this before. What could he have provided that makes it what? Look, I can show this part. Certainly that must have been talked about during the trial. Just keep in mind, he was acquitted by a jury for this. He said he wanted to turn himself in and provide evidence that he was innocent. How could Ellie let him slip through the cracks? They should be here. Yeah, she definitely is. She definitely is. And I appreciate that so much. From all of you guys. I just appreciate all you guys for sure. Okay. So what kind of innocent evidence could he present? I mean, remember, apparently he was filming this and his tone changed, but that's what I was thinking. I bet it's a video where he was making it sound consensual. Maybe it was something pointing to consent, just a guess. And did that persuade the jury enough to find him not guilty? Okay, so now to the next one. And this is going to oh no, not this one. It's the final one that we'll go over next that will kind of run through the events in a different way. But so the next one goes into some of the evidence. On January 13th, a police report was completed with the results regarding the analysis of the biological specimens kit reference blood alcohol level. There was no ethyl alcohol identified in the victim's blood. On February 9th, 2015, the police report was completed with the results regarding the analysis of the SA kit. There was no semen identified in the buccal, blank, or anal swabs. On February 13th, the police report was completed with the results regarding the analysis of the biological specimens kit reference to drugs. Delta-9 THC was identified in the victim's blood. I'm going to change the overlay for a second. I think you guys can see that fine. Like my little overlay that Melissa made me that becomes a watermark, which I love. Yeah, Jen, this is the girl who changed her pants and she went in and took a shower, which is common. It's actually very common. If someone ever attacks you, don't shower, go straight to the hospital. But this is what women do. By instinct, I guess they feel dirty. They want to just feel better. And so they go in the shower and cry and sit there and just it's just something that women do. Oh my gosh, DB Bentley. Thank you for the super sticker. That is incredibly generous. Thank you. People in chat, please be careful and try not to be outspoken. Alex won't like that. Andrew, that's not true. You came in here and insulted me yesterday and you're still here. So I don't think that's true, but whatever. Hey, Heather, don't shower. Don't change clothes. That's so true. You're trying to wash away the trauma and the ick. Yeah, it's very sad. And, would things have been different? Maybe. I don't know. It's really awful if that's to think about. That was very nice of DB Bentley. I'm outspoken and she loves me. Yes, I do, Jahara. See? He's crazy. It's common. Do you think perhaps they didn't have enough evidence because of that? I do, Jen. I think that's part of it for sure. And then if there was a video that made it appear more consensual. Yes, Riley. I love my outspoken people in here. Okay, so now the last one. Let's read through this. Okay. So a lot of the same information. I won't go through it anymore. But one thing that was kind of different, I hadn't seen when they're listing the charges here. I'll show this part for just a second. I don't think this has anything that can't be shown. it says motive. I noticed this earlier looking through these. Sexual gratification, which is, I guess implied in the what kind of crime it is, but yeah. And then motive for the second one says other, explain in narrative. So it goes through, the basic details of the charges and everything redacted about the victim, and then Wade's information. And here it actually is listed different. It says his minimum weight 150, maximum 170. We know he claimed to be 200 pounds at the time, 6 foot something. Not a small guy at all. And I don't know the victim size, but I think it doesn't really matter. Once you have a man that size, they could probably stronger than you. Okay. So dispatch information. I was dispatched to Tallahassee Memorial to make contact with the victim of SA. Upon arrival, I was directed to room 50, where I made contact with the SANE nurse, and they give her name. She had completed her examination of the victim. It was later learned from the victim where the incident occurred. This location is a single-family residence where a party which blank attended was held last night, 12/13/14. The SB was reported by blank to have occurred in a vehicle parked near the residence. We're going to hear more about this vehicle in a second. Physical and emotional condition of the victim. Blank was upset and cried off and on throughout my contact with her. She was coherent, but began to cry when relating parts of the incident, which were upsetting to her. Her hands shook, and sometimes she appeared to be dazed. Yeah, like somebody who's been attacked like this would be, no matter if there's a video of him talking nicer and her being completely silent. She said, she explains why that is. So it's just, I'm sorry, it just pisses me off to read, these details and know that I believe this victim, and he should have gotten time for this, and he didn't. And he went on to attack 4 more women, 2 of which he took their life, and God knows who else, including another inmate housed with him in jail. That's bullshit. The unalivings were an escalation over time. Yeah. Do you think that he himself wasn't abused, but he saw someone that abused others, and that person got away with it and got whatever they wanted? Here, I know you're talking to somebody else, but okay, one sec. Okay. It's called disassociating. It's what our brain does to protect itself. Thank you. Yes, I agree with you, Chelsea, and that's totally normal. I just read it the way that they have it written in here, which appears sometimes to be dazed. It goes through her injuries, which I won't read again, but excuse me. Then it goes through another explanation of what happened, but I want to read it to you because it's slightly different, and there are some details that just, like the car thing, it lines up with what we heard at the trial. So after speaking briefly with the nurse, I made contact with the victim. She is unsure of the exact timeline for events that are described below, but believes this is an approximation of the incident. Blank and blank, last name unknown, went to a party. They had 4 or 5 shots, was feeling buzzed but not drunk. Blank said blank saw a female blank had seen before but did not know. Blank spoke to her. The female then introduced her to a white male who introduced himself in front of the unknown female as Wade. She said she and Wade talked for a while and hung out in the backyard with other people. Wade asked if she wanted to smoke some green, which blank said meant smoke marijuana, and she agreed. She said her and Wade exited the backyard through a gate on one side of the house and walked around to the front. There were other people hanging out in the front of the house, blank said. Blank and Wade walked over to an approximately 2010 model Honda CR-V. Blank and blank got into the vehicle. She doesn't recall if he unlocked the doors or if they were unlocked already, but he did have keys to the vehicle. Blank said when they got into the car, Wade turned on the overhead light so he could see to prepare a bowl of marijuana for them to smoke. After smoking and a short time passing, Wade told her, "Get in the back seat." She asked why she couldn't just stay in the front seat. According to her, Wade's voice suddenly became threatening and he said, "Get in the back seat." She felt afraid, so she got in the back seat. She said Wade drove around for a little while, and she didn't know how long they drove around, as Wade made her get on the floorboard of the back seat and covered her with jackets. When they finally stopped, he said he realized they were still in the area of Essex Drive. He parked the car on the side of the street. Blank said Wade then grabbed Blank by the neck with both hands and began choking her. She was unsure if Wade was in the back seat at the time or was choking her from the front seat. At some point, he got into the back with her. She was not sure if he climbed over the seat or exited the vehicle and got into the back door. Blank said she remembers he kept choking her repeatedly. Blank said Blank was unsure how, but her clothing was removed and Wade forced his privates into her bottom repeatedly. He was choking her until she almost passed out. When she began to pass out, Wade released the pressure on her neck and she would start to regain consciousness. Blank said Blank became panicky because she had asthma and could not breathe. Blank said Wade held Blank in the vehicle for approximately 3 hours, and although she asked him to let her leave, he threatened to shoot her if she got out of the car or made any noise. Blank also said throughout the assault, Wade kept telling her he had a gun. He called the gun by make and model, but changed the make and model several times. That's new information and interesting. There's other things I hadn't pointed out, but that's something. So she did not recall the names of the guns he threatened with, but he told her, "You're going to stay cool, right? Because if you don't, I'm going to shoot you." She was afraid she was going to die. She said at some point, one of Wade's friends came over to the car and began talking to him, and he made her lay in the floor, covered her in jackets. Wade told the friends he had the naked chick in the car, and they went away. Listen to this. At one point, Blank told Wade Blank called Blank, and he would be worried about her since he was expecting her by 2 a.m. This is also new. Blank said Wade asked Blank what their name was, and the victim told him their name. Wade then looked at her phone and said, "Nope, no one by that name has been calling you. He's not worried about you." He then turned the phone down so she could not hear the ringer. Oh, I can't stand him. At some point later, around 3:30 a.m., Wade's friends came back to the car and told him they'd been looking for him. They said they called the police to report the car stolen. He got into the passenger seat and told Blank, who was trying to put her clothes on, to sit on his lap. She was only able to put on some clothes and left other clothes in the back of the car. She said she didn't want to sit on Wade's lap, but she was afraid to cause a scene. Blank said Wade's friend drove her to this house where she was going, and while she sat on his lap, he continued to penetrate her. We know about this. She took that to be a threat. And again, we have the quote, "I hate I had to do it to you like this because you're so beautiful." The full name thing comes up again. Blank said she did not immediately blank because she did not want to alarm anyone at the house. Blank said Blank did not tell Blank about the incident when she arrived. When Blank woke up, Blank said Blank discovered that the feminine product she had been wearing was not in her, or she couldn't find it because it was so far in her. When she discovered, she became concerned about the possible injury, and she told her loved one about the SA. Showered, and Blank drove to the hospital. They collected the clothing and put it in a bag. Then we have victim-suspect relationship, not known to each other. Witnesses account. I did not speak to any witnesses. It says to see investigator's report, which we didn't get, and I asked for everything, so I'm going to ask for that. Now, this is interesting, you guys. So here's contact with the suspect and victim's description of suspect. Blank described the suspect Wade as follows. Actually, I think I can show you guys this on the screen. Yeah, so let me take this off, change the thing. We're just about done, but this is another thing that shows me she wasn't lying at all. And it lines up with what we know from the trial. So Wade is a white male, dark brown hair that looked like a buzz cut that had grown out, 5'11" to 6'1", 150 to 170, the FSU jacket. Blank said Wade had a full sleeve tattoo on his left arm and tattoos down the left side of his body and leg. He also had some tattoos on the right arm, but not as extensive as the left side. She did not recall what was in the tattoo designs. The vehicle in which the assault occurred is a 2010 Honda CR-V. She doesn't recall any bumper stickers or tag number or any distinguishing marks. She said it was a standard transmission, and Wade did not seem to know how to drive it. She doesn't believe it was his car, but may have been the car of a friend. That's what I was telling you guys about the car part. Boom. Wade couldn't drive it. Again, in his crimes, he tries to drive these stick shift cars that he can't damn drive, which, you know, he ended up making her push and everything else. So that is eerie, Tess. Now, let me put that back on. And again, I want you guys to know, if you came in late or if you didn't hear me the first time, I will have these uploaded on Patreon for free. We have a live tomorrow where we could potentially talk about some of these without having to cover it. I don't want the video taken down. I've done a video when I had some of this information in the past that was taken down. But any document I ever go over, if it's a PDF, I will always upload it for you guys over there. So you will, you know, I am not showing it all, but you can go and check what I've read and see that I'm just reading straight from this. But then we have evidence recovered, see forensic unit. These two officers and their reports, they impounded the essay evidence kit. All other evidence was impounded by forensics. So I need to find these other reports. I'm going to request them with Tallahassee. You know, that's where I got this, and that's the end of it. That's what we have about this case. All we know other than this. This is the evidence. And he was found, or that we know of so far, the evidence they took, the story she told, the things she remembers, and he was eventually found not guilty by a jury of his peers and went on to attack more women and other inmates. So that is the end of that. I'm going to hang out with you guys for a bit, though, and we'll just chat while we're waiting on the emails. Melissa's doing emails tonight and a new report with lots of photos and stuff with Tess tomorrow. I'm the grandmother of this group in age, but DV is real. I survived it over 43 years ago, and you never forget. Oh, DB Bentley. Well, I'm so glad that you got out of it, and I'm so sorry that happened to you. I hate trigger warnings, but care about everyone in here. If you find this topic too difficult, please take care of yourself. And he is at the center of a wild group of Wade wives. I know. It's just unbelievable. It truly is. I wonder how many victims that never spoke up. Yeah, I believe there are probably more out there. Was this the first crime like this? You know, or no? I don't know. I wonder whatever happened to this girl. Can you imagine having this happen and then seeing this guy all over social media thirst traps? Just no. I feel so sorry for her for that, for the fact that this happened to her in the first place. But then, you know, he's found not guilty and he's released back into the wild, right? Because he's a fucking animal, disgusting pig. He's released back into the wild. He knows exactly who she is from the court case, right? All the information he would need to find her. And then he goes on to, you know, watching him. Can you imagine the nightmares? Knowing that he goes on to kill 2 women? That could have been her. She literally said, we didn't know this until we got the second report. He was choking her, watching her almost go unconscious, and then letting go. And then she has to see all these women talk about how hot he is on TikTok. Can you imagine? She probably, if it was me, I probably would have taken a break from damn TikTok for a while. How, not guilty. I know, Ziza. I don't know. Well, he's about to have a new friend once Stephen Stearns gets there. Wade Wives, who? Oh my gosh, I can't wait for Stephen to get there. I really look forward to that day. Then you have people like Letitia who lies about SA and makes it harder for true victims like her. Ain't that the damn truth? That is so true. I'm sending her so much love right now. Me too, Jess. She is still trying to find an attorney to sue the police department. I wish that we could get like the transcripts from trial, because I asked for anything and everything. I did get specific, and I asked for incident reports, body cams, just all the different things, but also asking for anything and everything. And what I just read is all they sent. Yes, it is more, and it gives us more information, but like not that much more, you know? And still doesn't explain how the hell a jury found him not guilty. Please tell me they are seeking the death penalty for Stearns. They are, Kelly. They are. I look forward to seeing him be held accountable. It feels disrespectful to say I can't wait. But when you're like so invested and you've spent so much time like just getting to know these cases and these monsters and the awful things they've done, you can't wait to see them be held accountable. You can't wait to get the actual information, you know? Because you look at these open cases that people talk about on social media, a lot of times all the talk, none of it's true. If we look back in history, when Gannon's case first happened, all these channels were talking about, you know, all this stuff that turned out not to be real at all. We had people blaming his dad, saying he was involved. We had a damn neighbor who claimed to be friends with family members come on here and say that his dad, you know, I seen him with the gun, and this just really fueling this fire, this social media fire. None of it was true. We get the facts at the trial. That's the first one I ever saw, like from start to finish, that had so many rumors, and then so much of it was just not true. Now with Stephen Stearns, it's different because Florida is so open. We have already gotten so much information on that, you know. But oh, Grace, I'm so sorry. Kelly, how in the hell does he even think he has a chance and he's pleading not guilty? There is evidence all in his phone, like photos, evidence. Okay, so there's two separate trials with Stearns. We have the SA trial that's going to address all the photos that were found in his phone. Then we have the murder trial, but he was also on video, you know, with her slunched over unnaturally in the front seat. He pulled into a parking garage and put her in the back of the car on camera. Like, what are you thinking? You know, with Koberger, I've been watching all of that recently. I think some of you have followed from the beginning with us, and some of you that are new or have been new to Melissa's probably learned a lot about that last night. With that one, there's actually, you know, I still think he's guilty, and I don't believe his attorney. I enjoy watching about that case with either my friends or people who have experience with law. And I watched with Emily D. Baker, and I do think he's guilty. I don't think his attorney has a lot to work with, but I can see, like, maybe he's not. There's better arguments that go against him being guilty, you know, with Stephen Stearns. Like, come on, we know it was you. What about I could go on and on about him. I could get into the text with him that night with her mom. Oh, she's made her nest and she's tucked right in, just ready to go to bed. No. Y'all don't forget, Casey Anthony wasn't found guilty. Yeah, the justice system is crazy. You have really pretty hair, Bree. I love your hair and that. Wonder who ripped Wade in this trial. Good question. No, it isn't bad, Lisa, because I feel the same way, but unfortunately, we don't know what was presented to the jury. We can't blame them. That's true, Neat. We don't know unless we got the transcripts. The jury was swayed by his good looks. I don't think his teeth were missing at that time. I think that happened a little later with his prison stint for like his other more nonviolent crimes, but thank you, not that chicken nugget. I don't know of any places where this has been told online. That's why I don't want my video to go down. I hope and pray it doesn't. Let's hope, but Amber, I don't know. Are those kept off the record? We can probably get the transcript of everything that was said on the record. I think the saddest part is that 2 murders could have been prevented. Yes, they could have. Hey, Joneson. Okay, guys, so I'm going to drop some links of my friends that have been in here. Amber, Melissa, Joneson. And then I'm going to let you guys go. And you mods, if any came in that I'm not thinking of, or sometimes like on the spot I'll forget, just feel free to drop their links as well. And yeah, I'm going to let you guys go. Don't forget, there's going to be a giveaway for a Patreon membership. I'll choose the winner by in the morning before the live. So the live is, I think, at like noon or 11 or 12. So maybe I can choose it early enough that you guys will see the email and can get in. So if you want to win, leave a comment down below so you can join the live tomorrow. Also, if you just want to see the documents, join as a free member. I will never, ever post any documents, anything related to these cases like that, public information for where you have to pay to see it. I just personally, and I don't care what anybody else does, I just personally don't want to do that. It's just, so yeah. And I appreciate you, Julie. I got here too late. 20 more minutes. I know. No, I'm going to let you guys go for real because Melissa, they're doing some emails tonight. So we'll make sure to leave a comment just down below. And maybe I'll choose a couple winners for Patreon memberships out of the comments. So anyways, I appreciate you guys being here with me. Hey, Jordan, I hope you guys have a lovely evening. And hopefully after all of this, which was pretty tough stuff to hear, we can hear some of the silliness over in the emails. So that will be nice. Thanks, Scott. All right, you guys, Julie would love to win. Make sure to leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll definitely see you this weekend. Hope you guys have a good night. And yeah, I'll see you over at Melissa's. Bye.